What's going on, you XCOM freaks? Johnny 5 Live here. We are back with some more XCOM2 mod reviews, and in today's episode we're going to be looking at some Star Wars stuff, so stay tuned to check it out. Alright, as I mentioned, we're going to be looking at some Star Wars stuff. We got Star Wars helmets by Platoon. This can be found on the Steam Workshop as well as the Nexus Mod Manager. If you like this mod, come give this guy a rating. Before we jump into the game and check it out, I just want to mention that in these screenshots can be kind of misleading. Like this here, this helmet looks very sheeny and shiny, and I don't know if that was actually taken in game or not, because when I got into the game it looked a little bit different. And I did resubscribe to make sure I had the latest update, and it still doesn't look the same. Like this Mandalorian helmet, it looks really shiny and nice, and mine doesn't seem to look that way. So I don't know if I'm did something wrong or what's going on here, but let's jump into the game and take a look at it. We can see for ourselves. You get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 helmets with this pack. Now, as I was mentioning, the helmets don't look as good as they do in the screenshots. As you can see, the texture's very low res. It's very bitmappy. You can see the pixels on it. I don't know if you can see it in the YouTube video as well as I can, but it's very pixely. If you download the mod, you'll see it for yourself, and it doesn't have like a very sheeny, what do you call it, shader? As you can see, the armor here, there's a sheen when you rotate the light. The helmet doesn't pick up any of that, so it doesn't really look like there's a good shader on the helmet, and it seems consistent throughout all of them. Very low res textures. Feels like a 64 by 64 texture. You can see it a lot on the back here. In terms of textures, it's not the best. If you're a Star Wars fan, you know, this is really cool, and you know, if you're zoomed out and you're playing from this distance, you might not notice it as much, so it might look alright, but up close it doesn't look too appealing. However, the models, the silhouette, that's what matters. You can tell that this is a Stormtrooper helmet from a distance. It has the models really nice, the fidelity's there. However, the texture and the shader lack a little bit. But these all look nice in terms of silhouettes and the models. So we have the Scout, the First Order, pretty cool looking, spot on. Mandalorian, so in the screenshot it looked like this was glowing, and this rim had a much nicer shader to it. But when you're looking at it up close like this, it doesn't. But I do like the Mandalorian helmet. Republic Commando helmet, I like this glow. I really do. I think that looks dope. Pretty sweet. There we go, they got the Clone Trooper. See, the texture's bleeding a bit here. It's bleeding down. It's a little bit clunky and chunky. But if you're a Star Wars fan, I'm sure you'll appreciate it. Then we have the TIE Fighter helmet. This one's so sweet. I love this. Again, the models are really nice, but the textures and shaders could use some work. The edges might be a little bit too hard as well. Could use some softening on the model. And then the Flame Trooper helmet. So I usually do costumes so you can see what they look like on characters, because they all take the textures. So what I did for this episode is I just put Star Wars helmets on all my characters. So let's look at them so you can see how the textures work on them and how it applies. And I like the way this texture like pulls inward, the hearts. It's pretty sweet looking. I don't mind that. Pretty cool stuff. Just go through them all. I think the Mandalorian helmet looks badass on this. So it's actually not like too lore breaking in the sense, like this look actually works for XCOM. Some of them, however, may not. And then there's this one, like it does feel like an army helmet. It kind of does fit XCOM. So some of them might not break the immersion. This one's a little too Star Warsy for me. Same with the classic Trooper helmet. It's a little bit too lore immersion breaking for me in that sense. I like the look of this though. That's pretty badass. Again, I love the texture, the way it pulls in like that. Little Darth Vader looking. I just love the Mandalorian helmet. It works in XCOM. This one is very XCOM feeling. I like this one for XCOM. It works. Gotta love the Mandalorian helmet. Again, too immersion breaking. Textures look cool on it though. I can see it working in some cases. Love it. So that's all of them. So for me, this mod is a little bit too unlore friendly, immersion breaking. However, these models look absolutely awesome. The silhouette, you can tell from a mile away that these are Star Wars helmets. They could use some work on the textures and shaders up close. They're a little bit gritty, a little messy, but overall, really good job to the mod author on the models and this, you know, nailing that. It turned out really good. And for me, like, I would love to keep this helmet in my game, and I would love to keep this one in my game. I probably won't keep this one just for the reasons I said before, but I do recommend it especially if you're a Star Wars fan. There's nothing that's not working here. I mean, the textures being a little bit low res isn't that big of a deal. XCOM, your characters are usually pretty far away. You never really get this close. Being a Star Wars fan, this is the best that it gets out there. And, you know, I would love to see the mod author do the armor next. That would just be awesome. So once again, everybody, that is Star Wars Helmets by Platoon. You can find it on the Steam Workshop as well as the Nexus Mod Manager. Come check it out. Give this guy an endorsement. Give him a rating. It's a good mod, especially if you're a Star Wars fan. But for me, this one's a little bit too immersion breaking. But I did enjoy looking at this mod, and it was fun time. So that's going to do it for this episode. If you guys enjoyed, please smash that like button, subscribe, and comment. I'm Johnny5Alive. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next mod review.